We have already discussed that the metals are found under the surface of the earth, and these may be profitably extracted from the ores, and different methods are employed to extract metals based upon the activity series. We already know that the activity series is like this: Kedar Nath ka Mali Alu Zara Fike Sukhe Pakata hai. It could be like tin may be placed here, सूखे पकाता है, and copper, silver, gold and platinum. So these are the these are the metals, these are the elements rather, which are quite reactive. They belong to the top of the reactivity series. These are the elements which belong to the middle part of the reactivity series, and these are the elements which belong to the lower part of the reactivity series. We will be studying these according to the position they have in the activity series. The ones which are placed at the top are extracted using the process of electrolysis. The ones which are placed at the middle of the reactivity series will be the method which is employed to get pure metal from the ore is reduction, and the ones which are low in activity are found in the native state. Native state means in the free state. They are not found in the compound formation. They are free in nature. They exist free in nature. They are not in the compound form. Now, we already discussed in the previous video that the ore is first of all concentrated. Concentrated means removal of the impurities from the ore. The gangue which is there, the gangue is the impurity which is present, and the concentration of the ore is the removal of the gangue, the removal of the impurity, because we are taking out this ore from the surface of the earth, which might be containing many impurities in it. The ones which are at the top of the reactivity series, definitely I just told you that electrolysis will be followed. Electric current does not pass through solid compound, and therefore we have written over here molten state. The compound is taken in the molten state or in the aqueous state so that we get pure metal from it. The one which are in the middle of the reactivity series are either found in the form of carbonate or sulfide. From the ore which are in the form of carbonate are calcined. Calcined means they are heated in absence of air so that this carbonate ore gets converted into oxide, and these sulfides are roasted. Roasted means they are heated in presence of air, and both the processes, either it is calcination or roasting, this convert a carbonate or the sulfide ore into its oxide. These oxides are then reduced to the metal and then it is purified further. Then we have the metals which are in the at the bottom of the reactivity series. They are generally present as sulfides. For sulfides, we just now also saw that roasting is the method for the sulfide ore. They are heated in presence of air, which converts this sulfide ore into oxide, and this then we get pure metal from it. Not pure metal, it is still containing many impurities. It is then refined to purify the metal. Now, the first step here is the concentration of the ore, and this concentration is also known as enrichment of ore. Now, the impurities are removed and different methods are employed for the enrichment of the ore, for the concentration of ore, depending upon the properties of the metal, which like there are certain metals which are magnetic in nature. So magnetic impurity or the metal is magnetic, we can use the method of magnetic separation for the concentration of the ore. So different methods are employed depending upon the properties of the metal. Now we will look at each of the group one by one. Let us first consider the extraction of metal which are placed at the bottom of the series, which are placed at the low in the reactivity series, like mercury. Mercury is placed quite at the bottom of the reactivity series. Even copper. Copper is also not very reactive. It is less reactive in nature, though it is not like it is found in native state. It is only sometime it is found in native state. They might be present as sulfur, sulfides or oxides. Why? Because these are the abundant abundant elements which are present under the surface, and therefore most of the elements are found either as sulfide or as oxides. So one first example in this series will be obtaining pure Hg or mercury from its ore, which is mercury sulfide. Right? This mercury sulfide has been given the name cinnabar. Cinnabar, it is an ore of mercury. Ore, as we already know, it is found under the surface of the earth, from which the metal is extracted profitably, and therefore this cinnabar is nothing but HGS, right? So it is an ore of mercury. So we need to mug up these two reactions. HGS is first converted into its oxide by heating it in presence of air. That means roasting is done. Roasting is heating the sulfide ore in presence of air, and therefore HGO is obtained, oxide is obtained. Now we also discussed about why most of the compounds, most of the ores are converted into oxide. It is because it is easier to reduce these oxide ore into the corresponding metal by using certain reducing agent. So first of all, HGS is heated in air so that it gets converted into HGO and sulfur dioxide is released. This HGO is then heated to get pure metal, Hg, in the liquid state, and oxygen is evaporated as gas. It is rather escaped as gas. Similarly, copper is found as Cu2s in nature. It is present under the surface of the earth in the form of sulfide. Whenever we have sulfide ore, we need to heat it in presence of air. Now when this sulfide ore is heated in presence of air, it gets converted into its corresponding oxide, and sulfur dioxide is released. Now this copper oxide is heated with more of copper sulfide, and we get copper and sulfur dioxide. So these are the two examples which we have taken, mercury and copper, for the elements which are present low in the reactivity series. Now moving ahead with this, we will see how this copper which is obtained here is purified. Now we're directly coming from that portion to here. Let us see this diagram wherein we have taken two electrodes and an electric supply is given to it. The battery is connected, the positive part of the battery and the negative part of the battery. The one which is connected to the positive part is anode, and one which is connected to negative part is the cathode. Always remember C for cathode, C for cation, and A for anode and A for anion. So cations are attracted towards cathode. Also remember cation. Cut means cutting two lines, right? So positively charged ion is the cations, cut ion, and negatively charged ion is the anion. So positively charged cation gets attracted towards cathode, and negatively charged anion gets attracted towards anode. So what have we done here? We have already obtained copper from by roasting process, as we just now saw. Now what happened? We take two metal electrodes, and both the electrodes, one connected to the positive terminal of the battery and other connected to the negative terminal of the battery, both of them are made up of copper. The only difference between the two electrodes is that anode is made up of impure copper. Anode is made up of impure copper and cathode is made up of pure copper. Also, anode is made up of thick. Anode is taken to be thick because we have to purify this, and this is taken to be a thin metal strip. Right? Now what happened at anode when an electric current is passed through it? The copper gets dissolved, get dissociated, gets converted into Cu2 plus ion, and electrons are released. Right? And this copper ion which is released, which is formed from this anode, gets deposited at cathode, because on the cathode the positively charged ion would come. So when at the cathode positively charged ion would come, so this Cu2 plus gets attracted towards the cathode, and this Cu2 plus gains 2 electrons from this cathode and gets converted into pure Cu. Also, in the meantime, many of the impurities like silver or gold may be associated with this impure rod of copper, which does not get towards this cathode and get deposited over here as anode mud. So this is all about refining of copper. Now we come to the Now we come to the extraction of metal, which is taking place in the middle of the reactivity series. Now in the middle of the reactivity series, we have elements like iron, zinc, lead and copper. These are considered to be moderately reactive elements. Now they are present as sulfides and carbonates. I just told you that whenever sulfide ores are there, S2 minus represents sulfide, they are roasted. And what is roasting? Roasting is heating the ore in presence of air. And whenever carbonate CO3 2 minus ore is present, it is calcinated. What is calcination? It is heating the ore in absence of air. Now both of them, either we are doing roasting or calcination, both the processes gets converted the sulfide and carbonate ore into its oxide. Now why do we want to convert all the ores, all the sulfide ores and carbonate ore into the oxide? The main reason is that because oxides are easier to get reduced using coke or carbon, which is easily available. Now this coke or carbon, it reduces the oxide ore into pure metal, not pure but metal. We purify the metal by another process which is known as refining, right? So prior to reduction, the metal sulfide and carbonate must be converted into metal oxide, and this is the sulfide ore is roasted, which is heating in presence of air. This is roasting. You should also know the difference between the two. Calcination is heating the ore in absence of air. Both of them converts the sulfide or carbonate ore into its corresponding oxide, right? For example, ZNS is sulfide. We need to roast it, we need to heat it in presence of air so that it gets converted into oxide. Calcination, if it is a carbonate ore, we need to heat it in absence of air. In both the cases, we will see that oxides are formed. These oxides are reduced to corresponding metal by using a suitable reducing agent, which is carbon or coke or koila. Simply koila is carbon or coke. This converts oxide, which is formed either here or here, into its corresponding metal. Now this is how we get metal from the sulfide or the carbonate ore. These metals are this method is mostly employed for the metals which are placed in the middle of the activity series. Now we come to metals which are placed in the top in the activity series. Okay, there is one more thing which is given in your book, is the reduction. Apart from, we'll discuss this later. Let us see this very interesting method of reduction, which is thermite process. Now what are we doing in this thermite process? For example, let me explain you when do we use this thermite process. Sometimes the railway lines may get cracks, right? So we cannot take this railway line, the railway track, onto the welding machines, and we cannot get them repaired there. We cannot take them. It is next to impossible. So what we do, we have to bring the welding machine to this railway track so that the welding may happen for this railway track. Now what we do, we take a crucible. This is a crucible kind of thing. Just I'm giving you the smaller picture of this whole machine which is happening. This crucible has a hole in between. In the bottom of this crucible there is a hole, and what we do, we take MnO2 and heat it with aluminium powder. Now what happened when aluminium powder and MnO2 are heated together, the fire is lit and the reaction occurs. What happened? It gets converted into Mn and Al2O3. You can see this is a displacement reaction happening. Also you can make out, if you have done first chapter, that this is oxidation reduction happening, whereby MnO2 is losing its oxygen to get converted into Mn. That means that it is getting reduced, whereas Al is attracting O towards itself, so it is getting oxidized, right? So one is reduced, another is getting oxidized, and therefore we call it a redox reaction. And also we see that Mn is formed and Al2O3 is formed along with the formation of lot of heat. So this is an example whereby we take this displacement reaction. Now coming back onto thermite process, what are we doing? We are utilizing this same process here. And what are we doing? We have taken a crucible, and in this crucible we are going to fill Fe2O3 and aluminium powder is taken. What happened, as here the reaction has occurred, that the redox reaction MnO2 का O is gone and Al2O3 बन गया, Al के साथ जुड़ गया. Similarly Fe2O3 के साथ अगर हम Al का reaction कराएंगे तो definitely Al is above in the activity series, and therefore the displacement reaction would happen, and Fe would be formed and Al2O3 will be formed along with the liberation of a lot of heat. Now this heat is so much that this Fe, iron which is formed, is in molten state, and this is the reason why the crucible has a hole here. What happened, this is going to form Fe which is in liquid state, and it will start to flow from this hole. It is in molten state, and then what happened, when this crucible is taken onto this railway track, this molten iron flows on the railway track and fills the gap which are there in the railway track, and the welding happens. So this is a type of displacement reaction. It is highly exothermic reaction because a lot of heat is involved, and this heat is so much that it dissolves iron, it produces iron in molten state. So it is a displacement reaction, it is a redox reaction, it is an exothermic reaction, right? So this is used in joining of railway track, and it is known as thermite process. So thermite process is one in which this reaction happens, and the welding occurs, and the kind of reaction it is the redox, it is the exothermic reaction, it is the displacement reaction. Now we'll come on to the last part of extraction of metal, which are placed top in the reactivity series. Now we already know that the one which are placed at the top of the reactivity series are very reactive. They will react with almost everything which is present, and therefore the method of electrolysis will be employed to extract them. Like we have NaCl. What happened when an electric current is passed through molten NaCl? Always remember that the electric current will not pass through solid NaCl. So either the NaCl is taken in molten state or it is taken in liquid state. What happens when an electric current is passed through it? It gets dissociated into Na ion and Cl ion. As I just told you, Na ion is positively cut ion. So it is going to move at cathode. C for cation, C for cathode. And this is anion, and it will go on anode. What happens at cathode? This Na plus, which is devoid of one electron, deficient of one electron, will gain one electron to form neutral Na, and this Cl, which is having an excess electron, negative charge denotes that it is having an excess electron, and it gets converted into Cl, which then combines with itself to form Cl2. Also, aluminium is obtained in the similar way by the electrolytic reduction. Let me explain the reactions for this. Aluminium is present as AlCl3. When an electric current is passed through it, it gets converted into Al and Cl minus. This is a cation, so it will move at cathode. This Al3 plus gains 3 electrons to form neutral Al. At anode, this anion will move on to anode. Cl minus loses 1 electron to form Cl, and because Cl cannot exist alone, it combines with one more Cl to form Cl2 gas, which is yellowish green in color. This is all for now. We have done the extraction of which is employed in the methods of extraction which are employed in 3 parts of the activity series: the one which are placed at the top, the middle ones, and the bottom ones. Thank you. Have a nice day.